welcome to the end of South America, or as my newfound friend here, Danielle, calls it,
Thank you.
maybe the beginning of the Earth.
Maybe.
So he is basically going to be my guide for the next 4 hours in this amazing landscape here in South America, the very tip of Argentina. Just let that truck go past. So, we're still a little bit in civilization, as you can hear, but so Danielle, what's that behind us? What are we looking at there?
This is the Glacier, Ojo del Vino. Debajo, behind the glacier,
Yeah.
es la Laguna Esmeralda. A good place to go trekking. Too much people go there.
Okay.
All day.
So there's a huge glacier that's up there, you can probably see, and then to our behind us, I can just spin around just a little bit, even more beautiful scenery. So Danielle has said to me I can take the drone up, which is excellent because it's absolutely stunning here. When people talk about absolutely stunning locations, this is it. Let's give you more of South America. As you saw earlier, I am in the very tip of South America, the very end of Argentina, or as my newfound friend said, maybe it's the beginning of the world. What am I doing down here? I'm on a commission for a cruise company. I've got to photograph a cruise ship over 8 days, and we're going all around Patagonia in Chile, so it's going to be absolutely amazing. Going to be amazing landscapes, amazing wildlife, and I'm going to try and document it as much as I can so you can see what it is that I'm up to on commissioned work. It's going to be adventure, and it's going to be an amazing adventure, so keep watching because there's going to be so much more to come over these 8 days here on this cruise ship. The harsh realities of commissioned work is, for me, when I'm looking out the window when everybody's having dinner, looking at the light and going absolutely crazy and thinking, I have to get out there, I have to get my camera, and I have to get anything that I can. It was beautiful out here a few moments ago. The last light, although it's not sunset yet, it's probably another 40 minutes or so until actual sunset. I had to get out here. The light on the mountains was just absolutely stupendous. So I'm going to get maybe a couple more shots of when we're leaving Ushuaia, but this for me is how much I like to give to when I'm being commissioned to do work. I have to work every single minute, every single second, every hour to get the best that I can. And it's actually quite hard when you're on a boat that's moving, trying to capture images, but with my 100 to 400 lens that I've got, the image stabilization at this hour is giving me some of the things I want. So just enjoy some of the images as we're pulling out here of Ushuaia. It's just absolutely stunning around this part of the world. It really is beautiful. There's just no words, no superlatives can actually describe this place. It is really the beginning of the Earth. Morning from Cape Horn. It's the 1st of February. Behind me you should be able to see Cape Horn coming into view. It's, I think I remember rightly what they told us yesterday, the most southerly point before you hit Antarctica. But Antarctica is miles away from here. You can't, as they say according to rumour, hear Antarctica. You can't see Antarctica from here at all. Now it's obviously a very grey day out here, and we have been warned that going across to Cape Horn it could be a bit rough and ready on the little boats that we've got to go out on. So what's it going to be like? I guess we're going to find out when we get over there. Should be one of the first people to get onto Cape Horn from this boat and then see what it is that I can do. Spotting with rain just a little bit out here, and it's kind of strange seeing it in a way because it almost looks like northwest Scotland, the geology of the island there. What am I going to find? Hopefully a few things. Hopefully the weather will improve as the day goes on. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's one hell of an adventure. Let's carry on with this cruise around South America. I'm stood on Cape Horn. I've just had a bit of a walk up. There's a few stairs to come up to get to this place. Behind me there's a memorial, and what it signifies is all the sailors that died coming down from the west coast of South America going up the east coast when the Panama Canal didn't exist. So basically with the memorial, what you can see when you look very closely is an albatross, and the albatross signifies, as I said, all the sailors that died when they were making this crossing and this voyage a few hundred years ago. So I've got a few things to do. I've seen a couple of things. We're not actually allowed to go very many places at all because this is a specially protected biosphere. So when we come off the boat that we're having our cruise on and then going back on again, we have to step into some special liquid that gets rid of any nasties that we may have picked up anywhere around the world. So I'm going to get on and do what it is that I need to do, but welcome to Cape Horn. If you're looking at this and thinking, what a cushy life it must be doing a commission like that, in some ways yes, and in some ways no. You're not always given the time that you actually need to get everything that you want to in the best conditions you want to. So for example, this morning at Cape Horn, if you're allowed to go onto Cape Horn because of the weather conditions, you only get like an hour and a half, something like that. Last week, apparently the waves were 6 meters high in that area, so that might give you an idea of how bad the weather can get down here. So it's not always that simple. You're not always able to get everything you want. I think the sun, I can see there's a reflection in the window behind the camera, is actually coming out a little bit, but it's blowing a gale at the moment. The rain is coming down a bit, but the scenery is just magnificent. Everybody's having lunch at the moment, but I've quickly finished mine because I've got a job to do and photograph the inside of the ship. So I'm going to get on with that and just enjoy this beautiful cruise in southern Chile as we're going through the fjords. We've moved on a little bit from Cape Horn and coming up the fjords. We're at a place called Wilaya Bay. As far as I remember it's called, just been given the explanation, but I think it was called Wilaya. Behind me you should be able to see one heck of a panorama. I've obviously done a panorama because it just justifies doing that type of image. But the view is just amazing. You can see the fjord down there, the mountains in the background. What more do you want? This is Patagonia, the real Patagonia. Obviously, people have heard of places like Torre del Paine, I think it is, or I can't remember the exact name of it. But really, this is just unbelievable scenery here. It's amazing. Just enjoy the view. So after seeing the viewpoint that we've been to, which is about 200 meters high or so, to actually get to the view we came up through this forest, and this forest here, we were told, is what is called a subarctic forest, which means it's the last forest that you'll see in regards to Antarctica. So basically after here there's no more forest, there's no more trees. It's just difficult for trees to grow because of the wind that certainly we experienced around Cape Horn. Just having to be careful around that simple walking through here and trying to vlog at the same time. But yeah, so subarctic forest. I've got a couple of shots of the forest itself walking through here, and of course the view everywhere. But we're here and we're just walking down, and the group's gone ahead of me. I'm just trying to capture a bit of vlog so you can see what it is that I'm up to on this particular commission. It is beautiful, really. It was raining when we first arrived, but thankfully that rain stopped, and now I need to concentrate on getting down because they'll probably come looking for me if I'm not careful. It's the 2nd of February and we're currently headed down the Beagle Canal. It's the morning and everybody's kind of waiting for breakfast, everybody's starting to wake up, and still for me this place just really resembles northwest Scotland. I was talking to one of the French people that's on this tour and saying that on this side it almost looks a little bit like Torridon with the geology that's there, and then coming up it almost looks like Loch Leven near to Glencoe. It looks like there's a mountain coming up, almost looks like the Pap of Glencoe. It really is astonishing, just when you travel around the world and you see the different mountains and things, it's just really amazing. So what I'm going to do right now is start snapping away, get some B-roll from this just beautiful, beautiful canal here in South America, in Chile. It's just really, really amazing. I would really love to be sending my drone up, but apparently it's very restricted on what we can do with a drone down here. So maybe not. It really does depend. But in any case, really enjoy the scenery that's here down in South America. It's just so stunning. From the B-roll that was coming up before this segment, you could see the truly stunning landscapes that we were passing on the cruise this morning, and this is probably the absolute icing on the cake so far of it's only day 2. Who knows what else is coming along. This behind me that you should be able to see, just swing the camera a little bit round there, is Pier Glacier. Now when we first arrived, lucky to see, and couldn't capture it on film, was a huge chunk of ice just falling off the glacier, and you kind of wonder actually the impact that we're having coming here, but the guides assure me that we're really having no impact at all, even though we've got a small cruise ship that's emitting the CO2 and now of course us when we're breathing out the CO2 as well. But Apparently there's only like once or twice they're coming here a week, and we are the only cruise ship apparently that comes here. So yeah, I mean, it's just, scenery here is stunning. It is amazing. There's just, I really don't know actually how I can describe this to you apart from it's just a landscape photographer's paradise. It is just amazing. It's inhospitable. It's beautiful. It's just amazing landscapes around here, and scenery is just fantastic. If it can stay like this with really nice changeable weather, then it's going to be really stunning for the rest of the trip. I kind of think I might have to split this in two. I haven't really talked much about photographic technique when I've been doing this vlog, but kind of difficult. I don't really have that much time to sit around and just sort of think, okay, this is what it is that I'm doing. This is what I'm doing with this particular scene, because at times we're actually on the boat a lot of the day. But where we are here at the Glacier, at Pier Glacier, we've actually been given quite a lot of time, pretty much most of the morning. So we've got to go in about, I guess, 20 minutes or so. And I've just been kind of sat at the edge of the lake, and I'm looking at the edge of the fjord, I guess, and then just looking at the glacier. And I've got my long lens on, and I'm basically just picking out things and just doing abstracts of the glacier there. If you can maybe at times hear cracking, there's some of the ice is just falling off every so often into the water or somewhere else. We can't see it where it's actually going, but when we first arrived, I can't remember if I said, but there's this huge bang, and it was basically massive amounts of ice just falling down the water. There's just no way I could get it on film or anything at all like that. So yeah, it's just spectacular here. It's wow, really, just wow. There's no other word. What you're seeing now is my guide Miguel had taken my GoPro and was walking us through the rainforest on what was described as one of the hardest excursions from the ship. You can see that the path is very, very indistinct, and you really did need a guide such as Miguel to take you up to the ultimate goal. And here is Miguel, he's walking up through the rainforest there, and you can see the path is, as I said, it's very, very indistinct. You're having to go underneath tree branches, fallen tree branches. You're having to climb over tree branches and whatever, and tree trunks. It was not the easiest path to go up. And you can imagine that when you have, for example, a 12 kilo camera backpack and a tripod to carry as well, that trying to get that up there was not the easiest task at all. The guides had said to me before we went up, it's like, are you sure you really want to go up? And I said, well, I'm pretty much used to going over these types of things, going over and under things with my camera backpack. It doesn't really bother me. And what you can see here now is actually people coming down the last section of the path where they saw the waterfall, the huge waterfall that was actually at the end of this path. Now, I didn't actually get to see the waterfall itself because so the captain from the ship, he actually radioed down to us and he said, you have to come back now. The weather is changing and basically you have to get back to the ship now. Now, when the captain of a ship says to you, you have to go back to the ship, you don't argue, you go. And so Miguel and myself, we had to basically just turn around. We didn't get to our goal and we had to just go all the way back down. Now, I did get a couple of shots from this particular rainforest walk and I'm happy with what I got. The guides said to me when we got back down to the shoreline to go back on the Zodiac boats, they said, we're so sorry you didn't get to the waterfall. And I looked at them and I said, you know what? I really don't care. And I don't care because our safety is paramount. If the captain has asked us to go back to the ship, then that's what we need to do. Our safety is more important than a waterfall, and it's more important than me getting a photo. I don't care about anything else. Safety is paramount. And I have the same ethos with my own workshops as well, that anything and everything we do, it's always going to be safe. I don't want anybody to be in any danger at any time. And that's something you should always remember when you're taking photos. Is a photo really worth risking your life for? Now you might be thinking, well, it's just a forest, just a rainforest walk, but you have to remember where you are in the depths of Patagonia. You're far away from any civilization, far away from any hospitals. And so if something happens to you, someone else is going to have to come and get you. So just always remember that. Is a photo really worth risking a broken arm, broken leg for? No, it's not. Behind me is Condor Glacier, and as you can see, it's an incredibly impressive sight to see. This morning we went out on the Zodiac boats to go out and get up close and personal to it, as you would have seen from the B-roll. Now what we couldn't do was actually get off the boats. We could only observe the glacier from the Zodiac boats themselves, but that was absolutely fine. Just to get that close to a glacier is just amazing. The last trip that I did out of 3 that I was allowed to go on, actually a lot of the ice started to fall away, so thankfully we were a safe enough distance away from the glacier, because the force of which it comes down just has to be seen and heard. It's just amazing, an amazing sight. Now you might be wondering, if you can see my camera on a tripod, why on earth I've got a tripod on a boat when the boat is constantly moving as there's wind. And if you actually use a quick enough shutter speed, you can get sharp shots from the boat. And I'm using my tripod just because I'd really like to line up as much as I can, get it as level as I can. The wind isn't that strong out here. It was a little bit weaker earlier on, and probably about an hour or so ago. And yeah, I mean, I'm getting some stuff. There's really nice panoramas everywhere around here. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful landscape around the fjords here in Patagonia in Chile. It's just amazing. It's just, I keep saying there's just no other word for it around here. It's just absolutely stunning to see the scenery around here. We've been very, very lucky today that when we first went out this morning around 9 o'clock, it was really grey, it was raining, low form in the cloud, and then by 10 o'clock it went like this. That's the weather down here. I've remarked it's like Scotland before, it's very changeable, and it's exactly the same down here. It's incredibly changeable weather. You just have to take what you're given. Until then, just admire this beautiful glacier that's behind me. As you can see behind me, I'm at yet another spectacular glacier, and it's just mind-boggling when you're stood just a few hundred meters from this thing. It's just immense. I can't really convey the size to you, apart from, I suppose when I look at it, kind of almost looks as tall as Salisbury Cathedral or taller. It's absolutely massive. And what I'm doing with it basically at the moment, I've done like a wide angle shot, which is okay, but I'm trying to pick out other things. I'm trying to do sort of abstract images from the glacier itself. So I'll be flicking up some of them afterwards so you can see what it is that I've done, trying to pick out patterns within the ice. And it's just beautiful to watch and see and just observe this spectacular work of nature. It's unbelievable. It almost looks like some creature created this thing, that it just does not look of this earth. It is absolutely beautiful. Now it does have a name, but me being forgetful as I am at times, I've completely forgotten the name that somebody told me 10 minutes ago. But it's just look on in wonder at this amazing work of nature. It's the end of 4 days cruising around the Patagonian fjords. I'm stood here in Punta Arenas, and is that the end of it? It's certainly not the end of it. As you would have seen just before this segment, we were on an island this morning surrounded by penguins and other wildlife. Absolutely amazing sight to see, and have to just come to this place. It's fantastic coming down here and being so close to nature, seeing such beautiful scenery, going on such an epic journey. It is absolutely amazing. Is that the end of it? Actually, no, it's not. It's just halfway through. This is the end of part 1, so part 2 is coming up very soon. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Find me on Instagram at julianelliottphotography.com, as well as Facebook under the same thing. So see you again soon on the next voyage around the fjords of Patagonia.